What's after that game?
I think they were the better team with 11 players or 10, and I felt since the first minute that we were not there with the same intensity. So they deserve the win.
What was missing from your team this evening, do you feel?
The way to face the game, to understand that the other team help us with the send-off. What we need to do in every single moment of the game. If they have 10, let's push the opponent to the final third, to be near any transition, to be focused, really to be focused in the game.
In the second half, you had plenty of the ball, you had plenty of chances, but couldn't put them away. Did you feel as though you just needed something to drop in the back of the net? But when you did have a good effort, Pickford was in fine form, wasn't he?
Yeah, that can happen. But I think they look for the luck, and they deserve it. We need to do more.
You've been in good nick up until tonight, 5 games unbeaten. So does this feel like it's a big step backwards?
Yes, especially in the way we play the game. Forget about the results. The results is also really bad, but I'm more concerned with the feeling that I had during the game.
What's the situation with Cunha? What was the injury? What's the problem with him?
Let's recover Cunha and then we'll see if he'll be ready for the next game.
How pleased were you with the way that Josh Tarkowski led the line this evening?
He did all right, but I think everyone should play better tonight.
Obviously, your frustration is clear to see. What kind of things have you said to your players at the end of the game then?
Nothing. We have training tomorrow. I will deal with that tomorrow.
Thanks for your time, Ruben. Thank you.
Cheers. And you can see how unhappy he is. And the obvious question that fans all want is, after being unbeaten in 5, and like you say, all the positive vibes, why at home against 10 men have they lacked intensity, in the manager's words?
Yeah, you don't know. I think you've had a lot of players away on international break as well who are flying back. So you don't have the time to work with the team that much. So maybe that's a factor. But Michael knows well, sometimes you train against 10 men, and it's very difficult to break down if they're organised well and you've got everyone working. It's difficult to break them down and get the clear-cut chances if they defend well and they work hard. So I think Man United's game plan had to change as well tonight when Everton went to 10 men. So they had to change the game plan on how they played the game, and they didn't do it well enough. They didn't, as the manager said, they didn't have that intensity, and that cutting edge, I think, was missing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I look at that team and I just think it was going so well with certain players in certain positions. And today there were some important injuries. And if it's like for like, if you're still playing in the same type of way, then I think it can sort of work. But just, Cunha's a big miss. Those players that actually take the ball, that drive, that make runs, that are positive, that take risks. We highlighted something before the game. Manchester United a year ago and Manchester United in recent games. And actually, in the first 10 minutes, straight away, you could say, oh, my word, that's what we were just showing before the game in the short clips. Xerxes up front, very, very little movement, waiting for the ball. OK, a couple landed on his head and he had a couple of efforts. But that was going back 12 months, and that's not what Manchester United need to be doing.
OK, you're
right now. Congratulations, Kin, and thank you so much for talking to us. Can you sum up tonight from your own perspective? Because that was a strange one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you summed that up pretty well. Roller coaster game. I'll sleep well tonight, put it that way. But yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so genuinely happy for the lads, how hard they worked. I thought it was just a fantastic performance of just gritting away, getting a goal and just keeping together and showing that spirit. And so thankful we got the 3 points.
You'd actually started really well in the game, but then you had a couple of setbacks because Seamus had to go off early with injury. That was in the first 10 minutes. And then you were down to 10 after just 13 minutes. What was your take on what happened there between Michael Keane and Idrissa Gueye? Because it's only the third incident in Premier League history when a player has been sent off for violent conduct, for an attack on his own player.
Yeah, like you said, we started really well, and then obviously the situation happened. I think it was just a moment of madness, and yeah, it was obviously avoidable. But look, all I can say is Idrissa's apologised to us all at full time and said his piece. And look, that's all he can do. We move on from it. But I just thought the reaction from the lads after that was unbelievable, top tier, because we could have easily crumbled there and gone in on ourselves and lost the game comfortably. But I thought it probably made us grow even more as a team, and you've seen that tonight.
And what did the manager have to say about it at half-time, Kiernan?
Yeah, he just said, look, that's done now. We'll deal with that another time, but it's just about making sure we keep to the plan that we had. I mean, we played really well in the first half, even after the 10 men. So he was trying to make sure that we do the right things, continue doing what we're doing, and yeah, just focus on the game, because that we can't change that now. It's different. It's done. It's all we can do is focus on the game. And for the second half, yeah, we continue to do that, and yeah, got the 3 points.
Well, let's get to the positives, Kiernan. The goal. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I see Jim. I just see myself in a little pocket. Jimmy finds me, and yeah, just a little couple of movements. And I thought, I'm going to swing it on my right. I can't say I've done that many times on my right foot, but didn't even know I had it in the locker. But yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, listen,
yeah, I'll take it.
That was definitely deserved on the run of play. Certainly the start you made to the game, but it was a little bit surprising how high you pressed, how aggressive you were, how on the front foot you were initially, playing really well before the red card. What was that a big part of sort of the build-up to this game, to try and get after Manchester United?
Yeah, spot on, 100%. Look, I've said it before in a couple of interviews, we sort of want a bit of a mentality shift here at the club now. We're looking onto a brighter future with all the things that are happening. So it's about going to big places like this and trying to impose ourselves, not just be sitting ducks and waiting to get beat. We actually want to go and take it to teams and try and be on the front foot. And I thought we did that really well up until the incident. And then obviously it changed our game plan for the rest of the game. But I mean, it showed that we can do both sides of it. Obviously, we'd like to be more aggressive in the game, and I would. But look, it is what it is. It's football. And the main thing is obviously what happened at the end in the 3 points.
Kiernan, you've joined, a fantastic football club with a huge fan base, really passionate. How have you found the first few months at Everton? New stadium, obviously David Moyes, brilliant manager for the club, has come back as well. How have you found your time so far? And you've already seemed to have built a real connection with the supporters.
Yeah, to be honest, Jamie, I've absolutely loved it since I've been here. I've said, look, for me to leave my old club, it would have to be for an exciting project, and I think Everton's the perfect example. New stadium, no ownership, real shift in mentality, and that's something I want to be a part of. I want to be part of that group that's going to try and take the club forward. And look, I can't thank the fans enough for the way they've treated me and my family since I've been here. It's been unbelievable, and it just makes you as a player want to just run through brick walls. And I'm glad that I can bring moments of quality like that when it's needed to come. And yeah, keep building, keep improving, and look, see where we are at the end of the season.
Absolutely, Kiernan. It's nights like this, results like this, that really strengthen and deepen those bonds as well, isn't it? And I think we've got some pictures of those final few moments on the pitch. You said it was a tough one. You certainly put the legwork in this evening, so you were begging for the whistle to be blown there.
Nah, you know what? Watching a game of football is the hardest thing in the world. I mean, I was off for like 10 minutes and it felt like an hour. Like when you're on the pitch and you've got a certain amount of control, it's a bit different. But when you're off and watching it, it's the most nerve-wracking thing in the world. But like you said, look, coming to places like Old Trafford and winning, it's like they're big moments in your career and the moments you want to have. So it's something that we can definitely be proud of. But got an important run of games now, 3 or 4 games, where if we pick up a decent amount of results, then we're looking up instead of looking down.
Many congratulations on a brilliant performance, a great victory and a wonderful goal as well, Kiernan. Thank you so much for talking to us. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Here's the goal that won it for 10 men Everton. Just a second win in 33 Premier League visits to Old Trafford. And let's remind you why they were down to 10 men. Extraordinary, unusual circumstances with this incident between Michael Keane and Idrissa Gana Gueye. The correct decision in the end, but as I say, you don't see this very often on a Premier League football pitch.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's stupid, and 9 times out of 10 that costs Everton tonight. So yeah, I'm sure David Moyes will take the right action required for it. But listen, sometimes it happens, and that's the emotion to the game, and you don't like to see it boil over that far, but sometimes that can happen, and Everton have got away with one, and I'm sure Gana Gueye will be, really relieved that they've won the game.
Yeah, He'll be the most relieved man inside Old Trafford tonight. He's banned for 3 games as well now.
Yeah, it's plenty of punishment, isn't it? And you can you can't understand why. You can see why. I mean, he's tried to play the ball inside to Michael Keane. He's not really read it. And he's come over in quite an aggressive manner, waving his arms and thrashing his arms. And, of course, Michael's then confronted him, given him a little shove and another shove. So he's not to blame in any of this. However, you cannot condone, raising the arm, slapping in the face. The rules suggest it's a red card. The referee's got no option.
And at that point, that was after 13 minutes, away at Old Trafford, who they've just won the last 4 there. Who would have predicted a 1-0 Everton win?
If not many people, if I'm being honest, but I think the way Everton conducted themselves and the game management of the game was very good. I thought first half especially, Barry, Grealish and Ndiaye were excellent in keeping hold of the ball for them. Dewsbury Hall as well. And second half, the work rate of the whole team, the United were pushing them back and probably forcing it a bit too much, and Michael Keane and Tarkowski were editing everything out, and O'Brien as well. So I think it played into Everton's hands a little bit, but the work rate and the effort he put in to make sure they got the win was excellent.
Do you know what I've often thought as well? When teams go down to 10 men, a lot of managers go and take off their maverick player, their sort of skillful player that might be able to do something. I think in this situation, a lot of situations, they're actually the best players to keep on. Someone like Jack Grealish, give him the ball. He never loses the ball. He wins free kicks. He gains ground. He takes the sting out of the game. And Jai the same. And I just think that David Moyes needs a good deal of credit there, because, as I say, lots of people, all right, 10 men, let's take off the striker, let's take off the wide man, let's put another midfielder in or another defender in. But no, he kept some of the players that, because you cannot, I know they've defended for a lot of the game there, but you cannot just sit on the edge of the box. You've got to have some form of threat, and leaving players like Dewsbury Hall on and some of those creative players actually worked in their favour, because they're the ones that give you a bit of a breather. So I thought David Moyes deserved a lot of credit there. And of course he brings 1 or 2 players off at the end, bit of fresh legs, I get that. But I thought he did really well to keep the influential ball carriers on the pitch.
I completely agree, and I think when you're seeing them going down with knocks and cramping and shows how much work they put in, but if you're just sat on the edge of your box, 9 times out of 10 you can see the goal, but the amount of free kicks Grealish won and Ndiaye keeping hold of the ball, I think Moisey, maybe a few years ago, will have taken someone off, but he's just used all his experience there, I thought, tonight.
OK, let's go live to Old Trafford. Let's talk to James Tarkowski. He's got a big smile on his face, understandably so. Good to see you, James. I mean, what an effort. What a result that is.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. It made it a bit difficult for ourselves, but some performance, showed bravery, determination, fighting spirit, and yeah, massive result that.
You did make it difficult for yourselves. What was your reading of the situation of the red card?
I didn't see it, I was walking away, to be honest. But then listening to Garner's just spoke after the game and apologised, and Garner's a very experienced player and very competitive and play at top level, and he's accepted that he's made mistakes. And he's made a mistake tonight, and Keano's accepted the apology. But we moved on from it quickly and played unbelievable, and so did Keano, to be fair, to deal with that and then crack on.
Yeah, absolutely, because a lot of other teams would have let that affect them, but almost galvanised you tonight.
Yeah, it did a little bit, yeah, it did. Also, the game plan changed a little bit. We didn't want to dominate the ball a bit more than that, but defended unbelievably. Jordan made 2 or 3 massive saves, but then still had a bit of time on the ball. The goal was a good bit of play, and then a great finish from Kiernan. And we had to try and get just a bit of time on the ball and a few spells just to kill the game a little bit, because otherwise we would have defended for the rest of the game.
James, it's Michael Owen. Well played tonight. I'm just wondering, when you go down to 10 men like that, and as a defender, does that actually almost focus your mind even more, because you can't go out and play like you would have with 11 men, but you've almost focused your mind and then used your creative players sparingly. I thought it was a tactical, masterclass really from you guys.
Yeah, it probably makes the game plan simpler, really. We know we're going to have to defend and stay narrow, make the ball go wide, and I think me and Keano love defending our box, and we sort of thrive on that, so made our job a bit easier. And then we knew we had to give the ball to our creative players still, find the midfield 4, hope that Barry or Beto held the ball up when it went into them, and I thought that everyone did a job tonight, and our creative players, when we needed them, created that chance to get the goal.
Hi James, Wayne Rooney. I just want to, on your creative players, on your Grealish, on your Ndiaye, and Barry, who has had a lot of stick this season, I thought his hold-up play was excellent, and they were really important both when they got the ball, winning free kicks, but also the work rate he put in, getting back defensively, obviously to help you guys out.
Yeah, we needed him at both ends of the pitch. Some massive moments at the back post from Jack, and Illy was working the ball, and like he does, wriggles away from danger, winning fouls. And I thought Barry was excellent. The amount of headers he won, the amount of flick-ons he won, worked ever so hard and gave us a real outlet. And we needed every play. Even I thought even when the subs came on, to be fair, late on we're counter-attacking, getting the ball high up the pitch, and it just gives us that little bit of breather, so we weren't defending our box for the whole game.
And just finally, I mean, you've got back-to-back wins, back-to-back clean sheets, and you've obviously defied history. You knew the club's record at Old Trafford. You've put that to bed now to move on and get a bit of consistency, momentum. What does it do for that?
Yeah, definitely. I think you see the league table, it's ever so tight up there, and we've just got to keep in contact with them and keep picking up points. We've got a real big run of games now, and then we can look forward to the weekend and hopefully keep picking up wins and stay right up near the top of the table.
Good to see you. Well done tonight. Thanks for speaking to us.
Cheers, fellas. Thank you.
What a win for Everton. It puts them up actually into 11th on the table, tied for points on 18 with Manchester United. There is a win, there's an away win, and then there's an away win at Old Trafford. How satisfying will this be for Everton?
Absolutely. The headlines will all be about Manchester United in that unbeaten run broke, and the detail, the spotlight should be on Everton, who deserved the win. They were magnificent today. Back four were as tight as they want. Goalkeeper was excellent. Remember, they lost Seamus Coleman early in the game. They have a man sent off for an incident we rarely see, but, you know, an incident with a teammate that he gets a red card. So down to 10 men for 77 minutes of that game. And they dug in, the Jack Grealishes of the world, who's a lovely footballer, you know, did his defending, got back when he had to, played for the team. That was a magnificent effort by Everton and David Moyes. And, of course, people are going to talk about Amorim and his anniversary in charge and what Manchester United didn't do. But it's a night for Everton. Only the second Premier League win away from home. 18 points now, the same as Manchester United in the league.
They were absolutely immense. And I think you make a really good point there. We talk about the likes of Jack Grealish, you talk about Dewsbury Hall, you talk about Njai. Jack Grealish probably spent 50 minutes playing in the left-back position. Yeah. I thought they were unbelievable. I thought the team spirit, the collective side. But what you've also got to take into account, you have a teammate that gets sent off by slapping one of his other teammates. Now that can have an effect on players. It can shock players, but they just got on with it. And they were absolutely magnificent. And obviously, you know, a lot of people are going to talk about Manchester United and how poor they were, but I think Everton deserve all the plaudits because they were sensational.
Yeah, there was a unity. The team came together, it felt like, after that incident. And in fact, you heard the guys talk about it, Matt and Mark, on the call. Sometimes it's harder to play against 10 men, and that doesn't make any sense, but it's almost the case of what we saw tonight.
It didn't, but Manchester United almost played into the hands. They were slow, pedantic, they were predictable in where the attacks were coming from, so Everton got numbers behind. And sometimes it looks a bit simplistic, Cora, but you play like a left-sided player like Mbeumo on the right wing to come infield and hit it with his left foot. I get that tactic. But when Everton are blocking out the middle of the field, how about swapping him so he goes on the outside? So that's where the space is. That's where Everton don't want you to be. Everything that came central came into the areas where there was the Cunha. There's somebody who can be unpredictable when everything's deep and it doesn't look like there's anything. A clever pass, a move, a turn, something that just going to ignite a spark of action in the last third. That's where they really struggled today.
And I think they have so few players that have that natural instinct in front of goal. Because if you look at them today, obviously Everton, when they went down to 10 men in particular, they sat deeper and deeper. The amount of crosses that Manchester United were getting into the box, and there's maybe one player in there, not players getting in the right position. So for me, they struggle to break teams down who sit back. They struggle a lot of the times when they dominate the ball, and that was a huge problem for them today. Because what happens is when you're playing against a team that goes down to 10 men, they're going to sit deeper. So all of a sudden, the pace that you have in your team is sort of taken away because there's very little space to run into in behind, but they couldn't find another way.
It's also one of those days as well, and we know Ruben Amorim likes the 3-4-2-1 system, and that's what he's going to go with. But times they're attacking, and they've got three centre-backs just sitting there against Barry. So, actually, they're short of numbers in the areas of the pitch where they want to most have an advantage.
OK, well, we'll see, of course, what happens next.
Welcome back. So 10 men Everton lead the 11 of Manchester United by a goal to nil at half-time at Old Trafford, where they've won once in 32 league visits. And they're down to 10 men after an extraordinary incident, Wayne, just 13 minutes in. I mean, have you seen anything like this in your career, playing and managing?
On the training grounds, not on the pitch. But no, it's really out of character for for Ghana guy because he's a really quiet lad, and so it's just a shame, you know, because it's going to be very difficult to come to Old Trafford and win, and to get a player sent off for slapping your teammate is disappointing. David Moyes will be absolutely raging in that dressing room. Not with the performance, but with that.
I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Gay obviously thinks Keane should be switched on to his little pass, but obviously Keane wasn't and isn't. And he runs over to him quite aggressively. I mean, he looks like he's the instigator in all of that. And Michael Keane sort of pushes him away, and then a slap comes in, and it's hard to argue, really. I mean, listen, it doesn't hurt Michael Keane in any way, but you just can't raise your hands. You can't slap people in the face. There's been, you know, that's the rule, basically, and there is a clear slap in the face. So I don't think the referee's got much alternative there.
No. Here's the match centre with their explanation. The referee's call of red card to Gay for violent conduct was checked and confirmed by VAR, with the action deemed to be a clear strike to the face of Keane. I mean, that's a factual thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't argue with it. He's clearly hit him, so the referee's done his job. It is a red card, but it's just disappointing, you know, to have... And of course, you can argue with your teammates and get a bit heated, but you shouldn't be striking your teammates in the face, and it could cost Everton. It hasn't up to now because they've been brilliant, but it could cost them come the end of the game.
It's just not a good look, is it? Whatever way.
It's not. I mean, listen, it shows they care. It shows that they, you know, they're wanting to win. They get angry if something goes wrong, if the ball's given away in that case, and it's professional pride, and we all feel like that. But there's one thing in sort of, come on, you know, you should be on my wavelength. You know, you should have been ready for that. It's one thing doing that, and there's another one slapping somebody in the face. I mean, that's just going over the line. So, as I say, it's just hard to argue that anything other than a red card can be the right decision.
And we say it's extraordinary because we've been going through the archives in the Premier League era. We can only find a couple of examples in all that time of this. I mean, the most famous one is the Newcastle one back in 2005.
I don't think there's any doubt this one. This was a full-on punching
Bowyer and Dyer.
Yeah, Bowyer, Dyer. That was both of them were going at it, and if they weren't separated, that would have developed into a full-on fight. However, we did go back into the archives and found one very similar, actually, to the one that we've just seen. This is Ricardo Fuller hitting Andy Griffin playing for Stoke at Upton Park back in the day, and that was a clear slap in the face, and referee did the same thing. So there's consistency despite it being 17 years apart.
And as a manager, do you deal with that on another day? Not now, not at half-time, or do you think he'll have words about that now?
I'm sure he'll have a couple of words, but I think he'll be focused. David Moyes will be focused on the good play Everton have had in the first half, and they've defended really well, but they've looked the most dangerous team. When you get the ball, I think the front three, and Grealish and Barry. Barry, I think, has been excellent to hold the ball up, and Dewsbury Hall and Garner, you know, coming up and backing it up. And Everton have looked really dangerous going forward, and potentially could have had another goal. So he'll be really pleased, and he'll just give them encouragement to.
What about the goal?
The same. It's a great goal. Great goal. If you look here, James Garner in really good position. Great pass through the line to Dewsbury Hall, being direct, positive with his run forward, and a good strike. I think the keeper can do better. He gets a full hand on it, should save it. But you look at the position here. He takes up. He's in between the midfield and the back line. Only thing I'd say is can Yoro go closer, because Man United have got the extra centre back in there, but he doesn't, and then allows him to turn and get run at them, and a great finish. And Everton are winning, deservedly so.
Isn't that the whole point of having extra centre-halves, extra, you know, playing the back three? They've got more players there than Everton. To not go and confront Dewsbury Hall there is unforgivable, really. I mean, Yoro's got to go and press in. They've still got spare men, even if he does go and press in. They've got 2v1. I think he should go and press in there. It's a lovely finish, but I think Manchester United will be fuming with it.
I'd like to see Amorim make a change at half-time, take a centre-back off, and having the extra man, having that extra man midfield, which might stop Everton from getting the ball in midfield and getting control of it and allowing them to go forward.